Working together to make Leon County safer. All in. All in. Woo!
Welcome back to the Leon County Sheriff's Office podcast. I'm your host, Javonni Hampton. And today we're joined by someone whose career reflects nearly 3 decades of service. Or is it a little bit more than 3 decades?
Oh, no, 28 years.
Okay, I thought so. Leadership, commitment to public safety. We have with us Chief Ron O'Brien. He currently serves as the Uniform Patrol Division Chief, overseeing the deputies who are often the first to respond when our community calls for help. And, you know, with him being here, he can expound on that conversation, tell me exactly what his role is. So I'll let you all hear from him. But a little bit about his journey with the Leon County Sheriff's Office began in 1997 as a communications officer. And since then, he's served in uniform patrol, narcotics, violent crime, SWAT, honor guard, and has led some of the agency's most critical divisions, including investigations, special operations, aviation training, and professional standards. And so we are honored to have him with us today. He also has background in the United States Army and later with the Florida Army National Guard. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Did I get that right? Did I miss something?
Oh, no. You pretty much summed it up.
Okay, awesome. So, Chief O'Brien, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I originally grew up in New Jersey. I grew up with my mom. She was a single young mom, and she worked really hard. And we spent a lot of time with my grandmother and grandfather. Mm-hmm. We moved a lot in my early years, but by the time I was in 4th grade, my mom got married, and I was adopted by my dad. Mm-hmm. And we moved to Vernon, New Jersey. I gained a stepbrother who was 11 months older than me.
Nice.
And then my sister came along. She was 9.5 years younger. And the area of Vernon, New Jersey is not what you would think normal people would think of when it comes to New Jersey. It was rural. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of cornfields and apple orchards. We had cows, and the Appalachian Mountains ran through there. So there were also 2 ski resorts in our town.
Nice.
And a lot of mountain lakes. Mm-hmm. So we didn't have many stoplights, so it was pretty rural. It was a good place to grow up, and I have very fond childhood memories. And then after I graduated high school, I joined the Army. And then I was getting out of the Army in 1993, and as you know, the Seminoles were playing for their first national football championship. Wow. And I thought, man, that looks like a fun place to go. Mm-hmm. And so I moved from Savannah to Tallahassee, and I've been here ever since.
Nice. It's always interesting to hear how the way we grow up shape who we become. And so what inspired you to pursue law enforcement?
Well, interestingly, my grandfather retired as a lieutenant from the Passaic County Sheriff's Office in New mm-hmm. Jersey, but he tried to dissuade me from getting into the profession of law enforcement.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a fun fact.
Yeah, but after I got out of the Army, I struggled a little bit with the transition from military life to college life, and made some poor decisions financially and, with my grades and studies and things. And so I wasn't really flourishing after I got out of the military. But fortunately, I was in the National Guard with Ted Phillips, who is a retired deputy from LCSO. Mm. And he said to me, I've seen that you thrived in the military, and I think that you just need some discipline and structure in your life. Mm-hmm. And he thought that the Leon County Sheriff's Office could help give me that structure. And so he helped me get a job in communications as a dispatcher. Wow. So that's how I got started here at LCSO.
That's amazing. And what was that name again?
Ted Phillips. Ted
Phillips. Okay. And you would describe him as someone who influenced just where you are right now in law enforcement.
Yeah. At the time, I didn't even have a car. So, he took his personal time to come pick me up at the house, bring me to my interview, bring me home. And then, interestingly, I got the job. And of course he said, don't embarrass me. Don't make me look bad, because I put my reputation out there for you. Right. And, there were times that I was, would ride a bicycle or jog to work at 3:00 in the morning just to get here. And I'd go work out in our gym here and then take a shower and then report to work and then jog home. Because
and you didn't have to be to work until what time?
I worked different shifts, but, but you know, if I was doing it that early in the morning, I was working from 6 to 2.
Okay.
So, but I was going to get here one way or another.
Wow, that is dedication. That's a lot of commitment. And once you made that decision, your career has taken you through a number of different roles. Let's talk about your journey and what positions have you had throughout your career and how have those experiences prepared you for where you are today?
Well, we told you I started off as a dispatcher, and then after about 5.5 years of doing that, I went to the academy. That was I won't get into get into that. That's a whole nother story. But from dispatch, I became a uniform patrol deputy, and then after several years, went into narcotics as a detective, and then violent crimes and as a detective, and then was promoted to sergeant, went back to uniform patrol. You're going to start to see a theme here.
Yeah.
And then I went into narcotics as a sergeant, came back to uniform patrol as a lieutenant, went to professional standards and training as a captain, and then was promoted to division chief. And there again, I went back to uniform patrol, special operations, investigations, and school resource. And as you mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, I've also been an FTO sergeant, FTO commander, and been a member of the SWAT team, honor guard, and our critical incident response team.
That's nice. And now you're serving also in one of another position, a leadership position with the agency. And that role is uniform patrol, which is what you just mentioned. Talk about the details of what it means to be chief over uniform patrol.
Sure. And I'll even add to that, just recently we had some organizational structure changes, and I also took on special operations again. So I have uniform patrol and special operations, but my responsibilities are largely like administrative. I'm responsible for advancing our strategic goals and managing my division's budget, authorizing training, addressing personnel issues, improving systems and processes, and collaborating with other leaders to support the overall objectives of the sheriff's office, and ensuring that we're serving the needs of the citizens in a professional manner.
And then, I mean, you made it sound simpler than what it is for our listeners, you know, and for those who aren't listening, for your role, every day is a new challenge, different, I wouldn't even necessarily say incidents, but there are so many moving parts to what you do. And there are also moments, I'm sure, that remind you of why you chose this profession, why you keep doing it with such a heavy load, special operations, uniform patrol, so many supervising things you have to cover, right? Yeah.
And to your point, you know, you never know what the day is going to bring, right? So uniform patrol is constantly a new day.
And
right?
For those who may not know, uniform patrol in basic words is
when someone calls 911 or they need help, when they call, those uniform patrol deputies are most likely the first ones to respond.
So he's overseeing the deputies that you see in patrol cars responding to the 911 calls. Every single one of those deputies fall up under his leadership, as well as the oversight of our assistant sheriffs and undersheriff and the sheriff. But he's managing that. And so you're still here. You're continuously doing it. What do you enjoy the most about this role or even this career?
Actually, do you mind if I take a step back?
Sure.
Just for our listeners. So some of the stuff that we do in uniform patrol too is, you know, we look at crime statistics and data and where crimes are occurring and things like that. And we try to proactively align our resources with maybe where some of the issues are so that we can better combat those crime issues. And so there is some methodology behind what we do and where we do it.
Right.
But then the special operations part of it, if people don't know what special operations is most of our agency events are planned and, you know, in our special operations division. So things like the Celebrate America 4th of July events or the FSU and FAMU football games and homecomings and all these large events that we have are planned in the special operations area. And then the units that are contained within special operations are units such as our canine unit, our traffic enforcement unit, our homeless outreach street team, the host team, and our mental health unit, to name a few. And then all of our specialty teams, our hostage negotiation team, the bomb squad,
right.
And all, the dive team, all those different specialty teams are all under special operations. Yeah. So it's just for our listeners so they know,
I'm so glad. I'm so
so
glad.
they know what we're talking about.
Right.
But you asked me, what do I enjoy?
Yeah.
I think that our community is very supportive of the work that we do, and it's rewarding and fulfilling when I'm able to help someone in a time of need. I think people understand that, that feeling that you get when you're able to help.
Yeah. Are you, have you always been a helper? Someone that, your family and friends would describe, if you need something, Ron's got a plan, or he's coming to assist.
I don't know that I've had those conversations with people specifically, but I do write, I don't know the correct word, but I put my feelings on paper when I write, like cards, for the holidays or birthday or Father's Day or something like that. And my father has told me that, he always thought that I had a kind heart and that I was nice to other people and was caring and stuff. So I guess people would say that.
Well, yeah. Sometimes it takes us a lot to see our own selves and accept just who we are. But that's nice. I think you are a kind person as well. Let's talk about something exciting, like a rewarding moment that you've had here at the sheriff's office. Just looking back, what are some of those rewarding moments?
So, that's a tough one. But like I mentioned, it's rewarding to be able to help someone in a time of need. But the most rewarding moments in my career have been those times where I was able to help a fellow deputy who may have been experiencing tough times. Helping those who help others and seeing them succeed and thrive is extremely rewarding.
Yeah.
Because when you're constantly giving of yourself, who pours back into you, right? So I think those most rewarding things are when I feel like I've been able to, mentor, coach, and help people succeed in this career.
That's awesome. To better understand just how important mentorship is, because I know you spoke about it a little bit earlier, and then now you're mentioning it as something that's rewarding. For those who may be interested, when did you realize just the importance of someone important to you, so it's imperative that you continue to pour back into others? How important, just is that to you?
I would say pretty early on, when my dad and I would be doing some project together around the house, he always had these stories or analogies for life, and I've kept those with me the whole time, but he was constantly pouring into me, trying to give me good advice. And then, of course, the people along the way, I mentioned Ted Phillips. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair today. And of course, I had many leaders in the military and at the sheriff's office throughout the 28 years that I've been here that,
right.
Have guided me in the right direction. And, so I saw that in real time. I saw what they were doing for me. Now I look back on it and, and of course, if I was, the benefactor of some of that, I feel like if I have something to give back, I think it's important.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. What's one misconception that people ought to have about law enforcement that you think you can clear up, or just, want to mention that, hey, here's a better way to understand how we're building relationships with the community, or just what law enforcement is?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't think I can answer that one or clear it up with generalities. But I believe that there's often confusion or misconceptions as to when law enforcement has legal authority to take action and when we don't have legal authority.
That's a good one.
Because, sometimes people sit on both sides of the camp, where some people want us to do more.
Oh, yeah.
And we legally can't. And then there's times where, people may think we're doing too much, but legally we can.
Right.
So
yeah.
I can't really answer that one with a specific scenario.
That's a good one. That is actually really good. I
think people in general in society lean on or rely on law enforcement quite a bit to handle a lot of society's problems.
Yeah. I mean, a lot.
Right. And so, and we do the best we can.
Absolutely. Power outages help. Just come fix the power. My cat is missing.
Well, and that's a good example too. Even during storms and hurricanes, natural disasters, right? Those aren't necessarily things that are a violation of law, or we're not enforcing the law, but we're here to serve the community. And so law enforcement is kind of like a catch basin for everything our community needs.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and even if certain arrests are made and, some people may say, well, y'all didn't have to arrest that person. And it's just like, we didn't make the law, enforcing it.
Sure. That's also correct. Yeah. The legislators are the ones that enact the laws. Yeah. So,
yeah. Interesting. I like that. That conversation was about misconceptions. And, while there isn't just one misconception or just one solid answer to that, Chief O'Brien was able to talk about the many different misinterpretations of what law enforcement can do versus what they can't do, and vice versa. So I think it all boils down to just that community trust aspect and being knowledgeable about what's going on. How do you personally work to build trust and positive relationships with the community we serve? So
to me, trust and positive relationships with the community is like a community bank account. Okay. Every interaction we have with members of the community is either a deposit or withdrawal from the bank account. So nice. Trust and positive relationships are built one encounter and one deposit at a time. And hopefully they build up over time. Right. So attending community events and showing people you care, even allowing people to get to know you, like through podcasts like this one, will help maybe portray us as a human being outside of the uniform. We all live here and in this community too. So, I have a vested interest in where we live just as well as everybody else does.
Right. That's important. And then let's switch gears just for a moment and talk about life outside of work, because you just said it, you live here, you're a person, you're a human being. And when you're not wearing the badge, what are some of the hobbies or interests that you like to do in your free time? I can guess one of them. Health, fitness, maybe a little working out.
That's a good compliment. Yeah. Thank you. I'll take that. I have young daughters too. They're 15 and 13. So I'm still in the hustle.
Nice.
We got things to do. So I enjoy spending time with my family, and I'm really kind of a homebody. Really. I do a lot of things around the house on the weekends and with my family, but I enjoy
what type of things around the house, like painting or
I'm getting to
gardening.
that. I just repainted one of my daughter's bedrooms, and I got to do the other one. And so you know how it is. There's always something to do.
Yeah.
There's always something to do. But enjoy the FSU football games. Like you said, I enjoy working out or physical fitness, but I'm also a competitive shooter. I wouldn't say I'm and there's other people that work here that are much better than me, but I still enjoy the camaraderie and getting out there on the range and shooting competition. So
who's to determine who's the best? How does that work?
There's a whole scoring system, and you can see it on paper. It's very very objective of who does it faster and more accurately than the next guy. Yeah, so
that is awesome. And then before we wrap up, because this is such a great conversation, and Chief O'Brien has shared a lot with us within this short period of time. It definitely doesn't feel like we've already approached 20 minutes, but I like to leave our listeners with something meaningful. And so if you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice or one message about law enforcement and community partnership, what would it be?
That we need everybody's partnership and assistance. Our motto here at LCSO is all in, meaning that law enforcement can't accomplish all these things by ourselves, right? We preventing crime and making our community a safe place to live, work, and play is incumbent upon all citizens. And we all need to be in this effort together. Hence, all in, right?
All in.
And, in 1829, Sir Robert Peel wrote 9 Principles of Law Enforcement, which still hold true today and guide the actions of the Leon County Sheriff's Office, right? And Principle number 9 states, police at all times should maintain a relationship with the public that gives reality to the historic tradition that police are the public and the public are the police. The police being the only members of the public who are paid to give full-time attention to duties which are incumbent on every citizen in the interests of community welfare and existence.
Oh, wow. Nice. Thank you. That is a gem dropped on the LCSO podcast. You only can hear it here. So for those of you who are listening, you want to be sure to tune in into our next episode. We have another special guest, one of our captains at the Sheriff's Office, Chief O'Brien. Before we leave, I like to surprise people with a speed round. And for the listeners, you already know how it goes. I'm asking him speed round questions and he makes the decision on what that answer will be. Usually we try to just go with one solid answer, or sometimes it's something you have to kind of explain. But as long as you give me the thumbs up and let me know that you are ready, we will start that speed round.
All right, I got it. Let's go.
Okay, awesome. Okay, here we go. Speed round with Chief O'Brien. All right, Chief. So we've talked about your career and your leadership, and now it's time to see how well we can get to know the person behind the badge just with quick answers. Don't overthink. All right, here we go. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Early bird or night owl?
Early.
Favorite meal after a long day?
I like breakfast for all meals.
What's one thing people would be surprised to learn about you?
Ooh, man, that's an overthinker, huh?
Here's the trick question.
I don't know. I think people are sometimes surprised by the fact that I say I'm not from here. I grew up in New Jersey, but
I think that's pretty cool too. Favorite sports team?
FSU football.
Most memorable moment. Well, actually, no, because you already know the answer to that one because we talked about it on the podcast. Beach or mountains?
Beach.
If you weren't in law enforcement, what would you do?
I always wanted to be in construction. I wanted to like build houses and frame houses.
That's nice. What is one thing that instantly makes you laugh?
Stupid movies or some of these cartoons that are out nowadays.
Good. Last question. After all of these years, finish this sentence. After all of these years, I still love law enforcement because
it's a noble profession.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Chief O'Brien, for joining us today and for sharing your story. We appreciate your leadership and what you do at the Sheriff's Office. And for my listeners, Chief O'Brien is here to serve and he is here to stay.
All in.
All in.
Working together to make Leon County safer.